There's a difference between being invited in and being respected once you're there. And a lot of people don't learn until they're already giving too much of themselves to the wrong room. Some spaces will welcome your presence, but never honor your voice. Some people will listen just enough to answer, but not enough to understand. And if you're not careful, you can spend your energy trying to prove your worth in places that were never built to recognize it. If you have a moment, walk with me for a minute. Because this is a bigger picture than arguments. It's bigger than conflict. It's about discernment. Not every room deserves your full energy. Not every reaction needs a response. And not every battle is yours to fight. A lot of people think responding back in an argument means they're increasing their chances of winning. But half of the time, you're not winning anything. You're just stepping down to a level you never needed to stand on in the first place. If you argue with somebody who is committed to misunderstanding you, then what exactly are you trying to win? The last word? Who has louder voice? The illusion of being right? Some people don't understand, or they don't respond to understand. They respond to defensiveness, from pride, from ego, from the need to get the last word in, even if the point was never really there in the first place. And when that happens, conversation stops being about clarity. It stops being about truth. It stops being about resolution. It becomes noise, and noise can be seductive because it makes you feel like you're doing something, like you're standing up for yourself, like your response proves your value. But wisdom doesn't always look loud. Sometimes wisdom looks like restraint. Sometimes it looks like pausing long enough to realize this person doesn't want understanding. They want control. That's why emotional intelligence matters, because not everybody in front of you is operating from the same place that you are. Some people are immature, of course. Some people are defensive. And yeah, some people are quick to raise their voice because they don't have the reasoning to stay grounded. And when somebody has no center, they usually try to drag the whole room into their storm. That doesn't mean you match their energy. That doesn't mean you let disrespect slide every time. But it does mean you learn how to fight the right battles, because protecting your peace is not weakness. It's in fact discipline. And that discipline applies everywhere, not just in relationships, in workplaces, with family, with friends, with associates, with anybody who thinks access to you means access to your energy. Just because somebody can reach for you does not mean they deserve your full reaction. Just because somebody wants a response does not mean they've earned one. Some people only know how to pull. They pull on your patience most of the time. They pull on your emotions. They definitely pull on your attention. And if you keep feeding every pull, you start losing pieces of yourself you never planned to give away in the first place. That's why reading the room matters. Reading the room is not being fake. It's being aware. It's understanding when a conversation has value and when it's just a trap wrapped in emotion. It's knowing when somebody is genuinely trying to resolve something and when they're just trying to perform strength. Because there's a difference between a healthy conflict and a meaningless fight. A healthy conflict can lead somewhere. It can reveal truth. It can build understanding. It can clear the air. But a meaningless fight usually just reveals who's willing to become the loudest version of themselves. And the moment you realize that, you start moving differently. You stop trying to convince everybody. You stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to missing the point. You stop confusing reaction with power, because power isn't always in the comeback. Sometimes power is in the calm face, in the quiet exit, in the decision not to trade your peace for somebody else's chaos. That's not avoidance, that's discernment. There's a difference between being invited in and being respected once you're there. But if you don't understand that, you'll keep giving your full energy to rooms that only wanted your presence and not your peace. Not every room deserves your full energy. Not every reaction needs a response. Because when you argue with somebody who's committed to misunderstanding you, you're not always winning. Sometimes you're just shrinking to their level without realizing it. A lot of people don't understand, react to understand. A lot of people don't react to understand. They react from defensiveness, from pride, from the need to get the last word in. And the loudest person in the room is not always the one with the clearest mind. Protect your energy. protect your peace. Know when to fight your battles. And know when walking away is a stronger move. Because not every conversation is worth your spirit. So the next time you feel yourself getting pulled into unnecessary noise, ask yourself one question. Is this a real battle? Or is this somebody trying to drag me into their immaturity? That question alone will save you a lot of energy, because a wise person doesn't react to everything. They observe, they discern, they choose, and that choice is everything. Not every room deserves your full voice. Not every person deserves your full explanation. Not every situation deserves your full weight. Some things are just not worth the cost. And once you learn that, you stop confusing restraint with weakness. You stop mistaking silence for surrender. You stop thinking every moment needs your defense. You begin to understand that peace is not passive. It's in fact protected. So remember this, a room can invite you in and still never honor your presence. That's why wisdom is knowing when to speak, when to stay still, and when to leave people standing in the noise they created. Because the real power is not winning in every argument, it's in refusing to lose yourself. Have a nice night.